6. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Welcome, ladies. You're here for our first lesson in our new series called Seamless. We have a lot of announcements this morning, so we're going to start with those before we actually get into how this session, the series and the session is going to work. But I want to say welcome and thank you for coming. Thank you to those that are with us in the room. Thank you for those that are online. And we have announcements, like I said, and then this book is going to work a little differently than the last study we did, so we want to share with you how that's going to operate. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. The first of our announcements is there's a ministry that we help support every year called Night to Shine, and there's a pamphlet back on the registration table. A girl that grew up in our church is the area director for Night to Shine, and Night to Shine is a ministry of the Tim Tebow Ministries, and what they do is they put on a prom for special needs kids, people, boys and girls, men and women up into their 20s, and we collect, it's a citywide thing, it's down at the Civic Center. This year it is September 9th. It's usually the Friday night before Valentine's Day. And our church, generally, our way of supporting it is we run the respite room, and that's the room they have for all the caregivers, parents, guardians, the people who brought these kids to the prom. They need a room to stay in. They can't go home and come back. They stay there so they're with them in case there's a need. But our church, usually our volunteers help man the respite room, and they usually give them a meal. They provide them a meal. We have I don't think it's bingo, but we have a lot of door prizes. And we just keep the parents occupied and entertained and talked with them while their kids are off having a prom. And there's different ways to volunteer. One of the biggest needs they have this year is for buddies for the participants that are going into the prom, and they need, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, they need a normal person to guide them through because they may not know what to do and where to go. So each of the participants gets a buddy, and that's their biggest need volunteer-wise right now is buddies. But they also have something like, over the course of this year, they've put out feelers, and we collect used prom gowns and jewelry, and they have people who volunteer to work in the hair place and do the hair for them, and jewelry and makeup, nails if they want it. But this Saturday at, let me get the address, Advo at Southwestern and 58th, they're doing what they call the formal wear boutique, and it's where these girls get to come pick out a dress that they think might fit them and they like, pick out the jewelry that goes with it, help them try it on and get fittings. And Connie Pulley, who's a friend of mine, she's been to church here forever, her daughter's the one who is in charge of this, but she said this is her favorite part of the whole thing, helping the girls come and try on dresses and get their jewelry, and she said they get so excited. But because that's like this is Thursday, that's Saturday. She said if anybody wants to volunteer to help there at the boutique, it's from 10 to 3 this Saturday. See me after, and I'll give you her personal phone number because the time is short on that. For the rest of the volunteer positions, that you can go online to volunteer, and you fill out just a super thing that's easy. You have to scan a QR code, and then it takes you to their website. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me, I am not technologically advanced in any way. And some of the volunteer positions, like if you're going to be a buddy, and there's people that go on the red carpet and just cheer them. They take them on limo rides. It's a really, really cool thing. But if you're in the respite room, you do not have to have a background check. It's like, to me, that's a win. It's not a big deal, but I just like it. Anyway, it's a big thing our church gets involved in, and so they need volunteers. If you are free on February 9th, you want to help out, Night to Shine is the place to go. Let me see. I might make sure I give you all the Formal Wear Boutique, Advo Building, South Washington and 58th. Okay, I am going to have, Heather's going to come up next and give you a couple more announcements, and then she will introduce the next announcer. Thank you. Take my coffee.
Thank you. Okay, I have a handful of these, so you might want to take some notes. So as a women's ministry group, we're going to partake in the Samaritan of the Month for Hope Choice. During this Bible session, we're going to collect diapers, wipes, formula, money, and we'll have those pink tubs out that we had during Christmas that we can put those in. So you can bring diapers, formula, wipes, whatever it is to support the Hope Choice Benevolence Room, and we're going to deliver those in March. So essentially, we're going to be Samaritan of the Month for the month of March. So be bringing that, we'll collect that. This Saturday, Hope Choice has Mother-Daughter Conference or a retreat. It's from 9 to 12, and so it's short notice, but if you're interested in that, if you have a daughter that's between the ages of 8 and 18, you can go to the Hope Choice website and sign up. I've got a few forms at the front table. You can sign up there. Most of all of our programs, there's a small fee or free, and if you're unable to pay some of those fees, we do have scholarships and things, so we don't want that to prevent you or your family from doing any of the things that we at Hope Choice offer. So there's a Mother-Daughter Conference this Saturday. Also, we have, Hope Choice has mentoring groups. They're for students from grade 2nd grade to 12th grade. And so there's some little slips like this at the front also that'll give you more information. So there'll be, they have groups for just boys and just girls based on their age group, and those are free also, so if you want to check those out. I think some of these are starting this Sunday and Monday. So look into that for your students. If you have any students or grandchildren that want to partake in that, they're about 7 weeks. And like they meet once a week. They're really fun and they're really educational and they're faith-based. And so those are really good. And I think lastly, so every year Hope Choice has an annual banquet. It's a fundraiser. And I just thought it would be a great opportunity for all of us to find out more about what they do. I know a lot of people may or may not know Hope Choice as a name, and they may think, oh, that's a pregnancy center and that's it. And even that, what is a pregnancy center? But we do so many more things. And so this would be, I know the banquets that I've attended in the past have just educated me on what all that they do. They're in the community, they're with your students, they're for families, they're for single moms, they're for parenting classes. We do a whole array of things. And so I wanted to invite everybody to our banquet. It's going to be Monday, February the 12th at 6:30. I've actually got a list up there if anybody's interested, and we can set you up at tables of 8. It's a free meal, there's no obligation, and no children, but you're going to find out so much about what Hope Choice does, and I think all of us would want to just be more of a part of it because it reaches the whole community across. And so I want to invite everybody to that banquet. I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, most of you know me, so find me or go to their website, check it out a little bit more at Hope Choice. And there's always going to be some information and flyers up front when you come in. And that's it. Now I want to introduce Miss Melissa. Has a really fun announcement. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Melissa, for those of you who don't know me. I did this last year during Christmas with a group of ladies, and it worked out really well, so I talked to Cindy and was like, hey, can I do it with everybody? So I want to introduce Secret Sisters. If you don't know what a Secret Sister is or you've never heard of it, we're going to gather together, and there will be a form that everybody will fill out of your likes and dislikes and just different things, and we'll gather quarterly. You'll bring a gift or an inspirational note or anything throughout the whole entire year. When we meet and fill out the forms, we'll also draw names for your secret sister. And the first meeting that we will have will be here at the church on the mezzanine on February 23rd at 6 o'clock. And it is potluck style, so bring a dish to share with everybody. And I know mine and Heather's forms look a lot alike, so make sure you read up here where it says Grace Secret Sister, because you might be signing up for Hope Choice. Yeah, do both. And if you have any questions, my name and phone number is at the top of this form too. And I recommend, if you don't have the app, GroupMe, get the app GroupMe. That way I can do, reminders, updates, if anything changes, when we're going to meet again after the 23rd of February. So I think that's it. I hope to see all you ladies there. It's so much fun. Brianna was part of it, Heather. It was a lot of fun, so I hope to see you ladies there. And here is my Cindy back.
This is a lot of information today. But I think you cannot say we don't have opportunities for ministry and we don't have opportunities for fellowship with one another. I think we just demonstrated we have that. It's like, all right. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about our study and how this book is going to work. But first, just a little, because we don't have a regular lesson this week because it's introductory, and we're going to show you how the book works and how the study is going to work, and then we will have a short video, we will have our small groups, but I just felt like I have to share something. It can't just be all announcements because that would be so weird. Bill and I were together, I think it was in the living room yesterday or the day before, something like that. And I have this quilted thing, like when you're in the living room facing the front door, there's this arch. And on this side, there's a quilted thing going down the side it looks like dancing stars. And on the opposite side of the arch is this picture that's a dancing star. And I'm going to read the words to you in a minute, so don't try and figure out what it says, because I'm going to read them to you. So this is my dancing stars. Well, he got something new for Christmas that he wanted to hang where this hangs. And I said, no, you cannot. That has to hang there because see those stars over there and they match, and this has to be there. Besides, this means something very special to me. So that being said, one of the opening pages in your book says how God knows what path led you to be a part of this study. He knows your name, he knows your circumstances, and exactly what he has in mind for you for the next few weeks. And when I read that part, that's kind of what's on this plaque, and it says, the same God who made the stars knows your name, knows your story, knows your heart. I thought, just think about stars for a minute. In Genesis, because this study is going to take us on an overview from Genesis throughout the whole Bible. Of course, it's going to start with creation. So part of creation was the sun and the moon and the stars. And in Genesis 1:16 and 17, it says, then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. God set them in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. So it doesn't say, here's what it doesn't say, he threw them up randomly and, wherever you land, you land. He made them. He set them where he wanted to be. And think of a night sky, especially if you live outside of town and you don't have street lights, when it gets so dark and you see the stars so good. You think, God set every one of them in place. He knows where each and every one are. He knows their names. He knows how big they are. Because another verse tells us He counts the number of stars in Psalm 147:4. He counts them and he calls them by name. Isaiah 40:26 says, and he knows not one of them is missing. When they say a falling star or a shooting star or a star that's imploding or a black star, God knows every one. He knows how old each star is, when it's going to die. He knows the rotation, if they're moving around. If they're a shooting star, he knows where they started and where they land. And 1 Corinthians 41, for one star differs from another in glory. He knows how big each one of them is. This one's bigger than that one. This is bigger than that one. This is Joe Jr. He knows. And in Job, it proves he names them. Job 9:9 says he names the bear, Orion, Pleiades. He knows the names of the stars. And the same God that knows the stars knows our names. He knows our stories. He knows our hearts. It's like stars, he made us in his image. We are so much cooler than the stars. It's like, but if he knows the stars and their names and how old they are, think how much more precious we are to him. And he knows what path led each of you here to be in this study, and he knows your story. He knows when you've been hurt and how you've been hurt. He knows if you've hurt somebody or been hurt. He knows your story. He hears your heart. When you think nobody else can hear you and listen and knows what's going on in your head, and he knows. He knows all of that. And we are precious to him. We are his children. It says, the same God who made the stars, like it says, knows your name, knows your story, knows your heart. And he knows what got you here today. And he knows what he has in mind for you throughout this study. And I just think that is so, so very cool. So if you have your book, there's a couple things to go over on pages 9 and 10 just to show you how this is going to work. Because you'll notice that you didn't have to have a lesson done today. Yay. And we will be watching a video. But on chapter 9, she talks about, as we journey through Scripture, we're going to use pictures to show us where we are. And at the bottom of page 9, there's these icons at the bottom, these pictures. Because next week in your lesson, we're going to cover the whole first 11 chapters of Genesis. We're not covering, it's not a verse by verse thing, or we'd never get through this in 7 weeks. This is an overview to show you how the stories fit together. And if you read Angie Smith's bio, you'll read her bio and her introduction on pages 6 and 7. The lady who wrote this study didn't even get saved till she was in college and already had degrees, but she didn't know how the Bible fit together. And she went and bought children's storybooks so she'd figure out how this all fits together. Because you may have heard stories of David, or know Ruth and Esther, but you don't know where they fit in the timeline of Scripture. And this lesson is going to do that for us. But they use these icons at the bottom. So in next week's lesson, we're going to cover creation, the fall of man, the flood, and the Tower of Babel, all next week. But if you open your book to the very last page, and there's a map, and then open out the map, there's a road map of icons. And when we get done with this 7-week study, you'll have gone through that whole little road map. So each week we'll cover, I think it's about 5 icons. So like next week, we get through the Tower of Babel, I think, right here. Where'd the Tower of Babel go? Right there. That's how far we'll get next week. But every week we'll cover a couple, I think 4 or 5 more of your icons that we're going to cover. Okay. Let me turn my page and make sure. So we're covering the main, we just want to help absorb the main story of the Bible and how it seamlessly fits together. Thank you. So after this, today so far has been announcements and instruction. After this week, so this week you're going to go home and do homework now. But you only have a little bit, 5 days worth of homework, but it's not a whole lot, I promise. A little bit each day. And so next week when we go back, instead of 50,000 announcements, we will go over the homework you went through this last week. So next week, this time period, we'll be going over homework. And then we'll watch a video, and then we'll go to small groups. So after I get done explaining, then we're gonna watch a video and go to small groups. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Not really. Okay. So, and when we watch a video, there's what she calls a session guide. And so on page 10, about halfway down the page, it says Session 1, Introduction. And that's what you're going to look at when you go to small groups after the video. And this week is totally, let's get to know each other. It's not anything deep or theological this week. So this is just a get to know you time. But lessons are coming, I promise. So don't think you just came to a fluffy thing that's going nowhere, because we're going somewhere, I promise. And we're going to go fast once we start going. So, okay, you people, ladies that have been through this before, tell me if I missed anything before we have our video. Are we good? Okay. So you either have never been before or you just don't know. Which works for me right now. It's like, okay. The videos are like 12 to 15 minutes long. So it's not long. And we'll watch a video. And if you have to watch from home, I think there's a QR code in your book. At the back of everybody's book, you have an access code. So if you get sick or have to miss, there's an access code in the back of your book that you can access the videos at home and watch them. I know on your phone, and if you're technologically advanced, you can throw it from your phone to your TV screen. I can't do that, but I know other people can. So right now, I'm going to get down and we're going to watch a video. Thank you so much.